Have you ever wondered whether one of the most effective ways to calm your mind, reduce stress, and support your health isn't something that comes from a prescription bottle at all? Today, we're going to take a closer look at the fascinating relationship between prayer, stress hormones like cortisol, inflammation, emotional well-being, healing, and overall health. We'll also explore an unexpected discovery from a major study involving heart surgery patients, one that surprised not only researchers, but also many people in the medical community. I encourage you to stay with me until the end, because the evidence we'll discuss isn't based on personal opinion or religious tradition alone. It comes from physicians, cardiologists, neuroscientists, and respected medical researchers who set out to measure what actually happens inside the human body. What they uncovered revealed a remarkable connection between the mind, the body, and health that deserves thoughtful attention. Welcome to Vital Aging, where we explore practical health information backed by science and presented in a way that's easy to understand. For generations, prayer has been viewed primarily as an act of faith, a deeply personal conversation with God that many believed existed beyond the reach of scientific investigation. Because it involves thoughts, emotions, and spirituality, most people assumed it could never be studied in an objective way. Yet modern research has challenged that assumption. As scientists developed more advanced tools to measure changes in the brain, heart, hormones, and nervous system, they began asking an intriguing question. Does prayer produce measurable effects inside the body? The answers they found became more compelling with every study. As I explored the medical literature, I discovered evidence that was far more extensive than I expected. Researchers from leading institutions, including Harvard and Duke, were not searching for miracles or trying to prove religious beliefs. Instead, they wanted to observe measurable biological changes. What they documented opened an entirely new conversation about stress, healing, and the remarkable relationship between faith and human physiology. Throughout my years of studying medicine and caring for patients, I have learned that the human body often reveals surprises when examined with curiosity and an open mind. As researchers continued exploring the effects of prayer, the findings became increasingly compelling. Teams from respected institutions, including Harvard and Duke, placed prayer and meditation under careful scientific observation. Their objective was never to prove or disprove faith. Instead, they wanted to determine whether these practices produced measurable biological changes that could be observed, recorded, and repeated under scientific conditions. What they discovered challenged many long-held assumptions. Researchers began documenting cases of healing and recovery that could not be fully explained by current medical understanding. While they remained cautious about drawing conclusions, they found evidence suggesting that
Now let's look at one of the most widely discussed scientific investigations ever conducted on the subject of prayer. This study focused on patients undergoing heart surgery, a group facing serious medical procedures where every possible factor affecting recovery is carefully examined. Researchers wanted to explore a fascinating question. Could intercessory prayer, meaning prayers offered by other people on behalf of a patient, influence recovery after surgery? The study attracted worldwide attention because it attempted to examine a deeply spiritual practice using the methods of modern medical research. Scientists carefully tracked patient outcomes, monitored complications, and compared different groups to determine whether any measurable differences emerged. The results, however, were far more complex than anyone expected. Some earlier studies appeared to suggest modest benefits associated with intercessory prayer, while others found little or no measurable difference in recovery rates. Then came one particularly surprising finding. In one well-known study, patients who knew in advance that others were praying specifically for them experienced slightly more complications than those who were uncertain or unaware. The result puzzled researchers because it ran contrary to what many had anticipated, prompting an even deeper investigation into the psychological and emotional factors that might have influenced the outcome. Scientists offered several possible explanations, though none could be confirmed with certainty. One theory suggested that patients who knew they were the focus of organized prayer may have felt additional pressure or concern about their condition. Some may have wondered whether their illness was more serious than they had been told. Others may have felt an unconscious expectation that they needed to recover quickly because so many people were praying for them. Ironically, these thoughts may have increased anxiety rather than reducing it. Since elevated stress can affect heart rate, blood pressure, and recovery, researchers considered the possibility that the emotional burden itself influenced the results, rather than the prayers being offered.
Rather than providing simple answers, these findings highlighted just how remarkably complex human health truly is. Healing cannot always be explained by a single factor. Physical recovery is influenced by countless variables, including medical treatment, emotional well-being, stress levels, personal expectations, genetics, lifestyle, and social support. The relationship between faith, hope, psychology, and physiology is incredibly intricate, which is precisely why researchers continue studying these questions today. Every new investigation helps scientists better understand how the mind and body interact during illness and recovery. One lesson becomes especially clear from all of this research: hope matters. As someone who has spent many years caring for patients, I've witnessed firsthand how a person's outlook can influence their willingness to fight through difficult circumstances. Hope encourages people to continue exercising, eating well, taking prescribed medication,